crafty friends, welcome to day 12 of Die Cut December 2024. Today I'm going to make a good luck card for you using these dies, and I'm also going to be following this sketch. Feel free to take a screenshot now if you'd like to keep a copy for yourself. The first thing I'm going to do is use this wonky heart die to make a clover leaf. So I've got some fun foam here, I think it's about 2mm thick, and a bit of copy paper. I'm going to trap it in my copy paper before I run it through my die cutting machine, just to protect the foam from the scratches in the cutting plate. I don't want any indentations or unnecessary indentations, so that looks good. Now I'll stick my heart, my leaf, to an acrylic block with just a bit of regular old stick glue. And to stamp my leaves, I'm going to use Lucky Clover Distress Oxide, because what other colour can you use? This isn't going to give me the world's most perfect impression. I'm just going to rock it slightly, but it'll be absolutely fine, except for the fact that I've got something up there, but we'll deal with that later. You can always double up your stamps if you want them to be a bit deeper, and that will reduce the risk of getting ink where you don't want it. Now I'm going to go over here and try and get the bottom of the hearts to touch one another. I think I've missed slightly, but that's okay, I can live with that. There we go. And then we'll bring this one in here. So there we have a Lucky Clover. I'm going to try and get a nice clean bit of baby wipe here and see if I can just lift that green. I don't think I can, so we're going to do some fixing. So I want this ink to be dry before I do the next stage, so I'm going to blast it with my hairdryer. And now I've got a black pen, I'm going to add some whimsical lines over the top of my clover leaves. And do maybe 2 on each. So I think because of all these splodges, I'm going to take this and die cut a square containing my clover. So there's my clover, and I've got a frame to go around the square because this die cuts out a frame as well. So I'm happy with that. So you can always find a way of fixing things, I think. Really, the only time I think that I throw a card away is when I just don't like the design of it. And then I'll probably cannibalise it and put it in my box of backgrounds and bits. So I think we'll take advantage of having a separate piece now with my clover on and pop it up on foam, just to bring in some variation in height. This is foam tape from Sticks 2. It's only about 1mm deep, which makes it perfect for giving a little bit of depth, a little bit of height, but not adding too much to the card so that it won't go through the post as a regular letter. I'll add some matte gel medium to the back of the frame because I'm not going to pop this up. Again, this will just introduce a little bit of variation in height. It can go around it still. Using the matte gel medium gives me more wiggle time than using my high-tack glue because it doesn't grab the paper as much. So I can wiggle it into exactly the right place. Right, for my sentiment, I want to create some DIY thickers. And I'm going to use these alphabet dies because I think they'll be the right size for this. And I've got this matte gold paper. This paper came from a pad that was a birthday present. I think it's Violet Studio and it was from Hobbycraft. So I want to cut a little bit off. And I got some more 1mm foam here. Instead of being on a roll, it's a sheet, which kind of helps with this. So I'm going to stick that onto one of the sticky sides like that. I'm sticking these down with some washi tape and I can get my fingers working properly. That'll hopefully keep them still while I die cut. Again, I'm going to put a bit of copy paper to protect that bit of gold that I want to cut the O from. I'm taping this down to my glass mat, lining it up with the grid, and this is just going to help me line up my letters. I think when I do something like this, and when I remember, I like to peel all the backing off in one go and then get everything sitting on a piece of release paper. That way I'm not fiddling around while I'm trying to get everything lined up. So I just want a roughly similar gap between the edge of the letter and the panel and the edge of the frame and the panel. It doesn't have to be exact. It just kind of looks good when things are mirrored, I think, to some degree. I'm going to take this off actually because I need to put my head right over to get the top letters lined up. So I'll come back when I've done that. Right, there we are. Now that needs to go on a card blank. I want to bring in some more of this gold down here onto the lucky clover. So I'm going to cut some small circles from a bit more card. Then take some matte gel medium and get a tiny little bead coming out the end. And add this 3 little dots to each leaf of my lucky clover. It's going to be easier than trying to dip the circles into glue, I think, and less likely to lead to splurging out the side. And then I'll just take my little circles, put them on the glue. I think I need a bit more there because I stuck my finger in it. And then press them down and leave them to dry. I will keep the rest of these circles in a little pot so that I've got them ready to use the next time I want some in this matte gold or less shiny gold. So there we have a good luck card with DIY thickers and an image made with DIY stamps, and I've done some DIY enamel dots as well. You could just cut your clover leaves with a heart from green card. So I've used Lucky Clover again to colour this. I'm going to zhuzh it up slightly by spritzing on some white shimmer spray, and I'll dry that with my hairdryer. And now I can die cut out 4 hearts. Give these a little bit of a curl, a bit of dimension. I'm going to use high-tack glue to stick them down because I don't want them shifting once they're in position. You could stick them completely flat if you didn't want them to be curled up. I've got here another die, this sort of seed head die, but I can use it to cut a stalk. So that could go under there like that. Let's just dip it in a bit of glue. And I lift up this one a little bit so we can get it in position. So you could have the stalk going that way, or you could put the stalk the other way, whatever you fancied. And you could still add some doodly lines to these, or some gold, or whatever colour you chose. I'm gonna just pop on 3 little dots of White Blizzard Nouveau drops. This is a glitter drop, so it dries clear, but there's a little bit of iridescent glitter in it. These may well absorb some of the ink, so they'll go slightly green, which would be quite nice. And you could use a different colour for your words. So there we have 2 different ways of creating 4-leaf lucky clovers without using a lucky clover die. So we just use a heart. Doesn't have to be a wonky heart, could be a symmetrical heart. But you can create clover leaves with heart-shaped dies, whether you stamp them or just die cut them straight. So I hope you found today's video helpful and it's given you some ideas that you can use in your own card making. If it has, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 13 of Die Cut December 2024. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.